Welcome to part 2. Now, what is the NASA strategy? Before we go to the NASA strategy, it is important that we review what has happened. Okay? Now, obviously, the most important thing that has happened is that the tyranny of numbers has been proven beyond any reasonable doubt. That is a myth. It does not exist. Okay? So what do I mean? Let me just make it very clear. The tyranny of numbers said that there were so many members of the Kikuyu tribe in this country, and there are so many members of the Kalenjin tribe, that those two communities alone are very difficult to defeat in an election. Yeah, and maybe even let me put it a bit clearer. The tyranny of numbers myth convinced Kenyans, including myself. I was convinced for quite a long time. Yeah, I'm very ashamed, but let me just admit I was convinced. Yes, that members of the Gikuyu community or House of Mumbi are so many in this country, so many, that anybody who makes an alliance with that community already has a head start. And indeed, I've said that in many recordings here. Okay? Now, that is not entirely true. Or let me put it another way. That is a historical, it was a historical possibility. It's a historical thing. It used to be like that in the past. Yeah? During the Moi days, yes, it used to be like that. But the situation right now in Kenya is that it is not possible. Yeah, and listen very carefully to this statement. According to the population and statistics of Kenya, it is not possible for a candidate with most of his support coming from two communities to win the presidency of the Republic of Kenya. It is not possible. It's impossible. It cannot happen. Okay? So that's the most important thing that has come out. Now, we have been hearing a lot of analyst strategies from Kenyans generally. Some of them aligned to NASA, some of them neutral, yeah, telling us this. But we did not believe it until we saw what unfolded in the 26th repeat presidential polls. Yes, a lot of people stayed home, but for the first time since I don't know which year, because 2013 the polling stations were not open to the press. The polling stations were wide open to the press. Yeah, and what Kenyans saw shocked them. Okay, because although there was a low turnout, you just look and you analyze and you see what's happening, and you realize that the tyranny of numbers is not a tyranny of numbers. It's actually, as I've always said here, a tyranny of fraud. So that's the first thing which has happened. So what does that mean? It means that NASA are ahead. Anybody who did not take NASA seriously has now sat up and paid attention. Anybody who was saying, who had swallowed the Jubilee propaganda hook, line and sinker, that Raila Odinga is a perpetual loser of elections, has now stood up and is paying attention. Even the international press, who had become very tired of the statement from Raila that, I won the election in 2007, it was stolen, I won it in 2013, it was stolen, had begun to get tired. Okay? But now, they have sat up because they're actually seeing, so this is what happens. The whole thing has been laid bare. Okay? Now, why doesn't NASA just rush ahead because they already have an advantage? It's dangerous. Now, in my view, the most dangerous thing here is what we've already seen unfold in the country. Yeah? Policemen, security forces are being used to clamp down on the population. Okay? And they're using live bullets. And something else very interesting that I'm getting reports repeatedly about is this thing of a policeman shoots somebody, then they rush to the spot where they've shot that person, and you see them collecting bullet cartridges. In one or two cases, you see them, getting bullets out of their bodies. I'm not kidding you, yeah? So as to wipe out evidence, okay? We're seeing policemen actually do that, okay? So for NASA to rush ahead with their program would mean that they're rushing their supporters to slaughter, okay? And you might say a lot of things about Raila. Yeah, most of them are untrue, of course. You might say a lot of things about Raila, but one thing I know about Raila Odinga, yeah, and I can vouch for, although he's a politician like the others, yeah, is that this is a man who really cares for his supporters. This is a man who cares for human life. Yeah, if you want to get Raila on the wrong side, yeah, if you really want to touch him, yeah, start killing people. Yeah, that really gets to him. I can tell you that for a fact. Having said that, I need to tell you something. The formation of the People's Assembly should not be underestimated. The People's Assembly is actually an alternative legislature. It is actually an alternative government. In my view, it is a deadly development, because those who read history, there was one very serious revolution called the French Revolution, long time ago. Yeah, enzi ya babu ya mababu wetu. Okay, now in the French Revolution, they also had people's assemblies. Yeah, this is a very lethal weapon of resistance. Okay, because it means the people are talking. Yeah, the people have representatives who are expressing their views, and by the way, countrywide. Yes, yeah, this is a very, very, very significant development. A lot of people have not taken the time to study and find out what are people's assemblies all about. Yeah, what are the objectives? Yes, and well, I'm telling you now here. Yeah, if NASA manages to implement this one, I'm telling you, this is a game shot for NASA. Yeah, because what do we have at the moment? We have a Jubilee dominated legislature. Okay, we all know it's because of the tyranny of fraud. Okay, we know that this was deliberate. Both houses are supposed to have majority, so that the president becomes a president like of the 70s, total control over both houses. We know that was the whole aim, and we have already seen that Parliament and the Senate is developing into a rubber stamp for the executive. Yeah, the president, everything is decided in State House. Word is sent through Duale to the National Assembly. Inaekwa tu muhuri, pap, it is implemented to the letter. Hakuna kudebate, hakuna to discuss. Imesemwa. Game shot, finished. There's no debating, there's no nothing. Which really reminds me of the draconian days of the 70s and 80s. In fact, of 80s and 90s. Because even during Kenyatta days, by the way, no matter how difficult things were, there were some small number of brave people who used to attempt debate. There was actually serious debate. But what we are seeing in the current house, hakuna debate, ni rubber stamp too. And then everybody stands up talking. You can think it's robots talking. They're just repeating the same thing. There's no reasoning, there's no nothing. Okay? So this alternative People's Assembly is going to be devastating. Okay? Of course, I'll keep you more informed more on that. Now, there's something else that is NASA have really going for them. There's a very important thing NASA have going for them that I want to mention before I go. NASA's opponents have a very, very huge obstacle, disadvantage that is stopping them from thinking, stopping them from carrying out the right strategy, etc., etc. And what is this? It's very simple. They hate Raila Odinga. They really hate Raila Odinga. And I can already hear somebody asking me, come on, Chris, how is that an advantage to NASA? I've always told you I'm not a very young man. Let me tell you one secret. If you ever want to win any battle, if you ever want to win anything, whether it is a battle in the family, you want supremacy, whether it's a battle in the office, you want to win promotion, or you want to win the favor of the executive in the office, corporate executive, yeah, whatever battle it is, yeah, remove feelings as far as possible from you. Okay? When you get feelings, and hatred is a very strong emotion, when you get feeling, especially of hatred, yeah, it clouds your judgment, and you literally stop thinking. And this is why, let me just give you a very recent example so that you see what I'm talking about. During a recent interview with Al Jazeera, indeed even the CNN one, yeah, Deputy President William Ruto, yes, was asked several questions. Yeah, he would talk 2-3 sentences, then he would say, our competitors, Mr. Raila Odinga, this and that and that and that. I want to tell our competitors, Mr. Raila Odinga, this and that and that. He completely forgets about the question he was asked. He completely stops thinking in the direction of where the journalist is trying to take him, and is just focused on Raila Odinga. In my view, watch waendelee too, because the more they continue, because this is all emotion, yeah, their thinking caps are not on, and by the way, this is a political struggle of of colossal magnitude, okay, and there's no room for mistakes. Yes, so the way they continue approaching this like it's a we hate this guy. Direct train, express bus back to Bondo. Yeah, Bondo Express. We must send this man back to Bondo for retirement. They're just focused on that. Meanwhile, what is happening? The people of Kenya have arisen. They have said no. We want change. Okay? And they're very focused, of course, in the Nyanza area, in the places where communities which Raila Odinga belongs to are situated in. They're very busy there. That's where they're sending all the police, all the brutality is being sent there. Meanwhile, in Narok, things are happening. Meanwhile, in Machakos, things are happening. And meanwhile, in Mombasa, things are overflowing. You get my drift? As I said in the first episode of this series, we have now entered a high-stakes chess game. A drafts game, if you want, where it is now thinking, whether you like it or not, yes? And my message to Jubilee, I'll just talk to them the way Mo used to tell people. Mukai hivyo hivyo. Let them continue hating. Let them continue hating a community. Let them continue hating in their politics. We'll see where that takes them. You will see what is going to happen. I assure you. Yeah. Now, in the last episode of this series, I'm going to talk about a very important aspect. Because, we're all getting lost. Because we're trying to look at a physical leader. We're trying to look at Raila Odinga, what he's going to do next, what is he going to say next. Yeah? We're trying to look at people down here. But my friends, dear brothers and sisters, my fellow Kenyans, I need to tell you something, if you didn't know. Who started this whole thing? Not Raila Odinga. Who has started this whole mess which is in Kenya today? It's not Raila Odinga, it's not NASA. Because the same things, as elections were stolen in other years, things were never the same, they were never like how they are now. Okay? God Almighty Himself is involved in this thing. Okay? Now, those who want to know the spiritual aspect, and by the spiritual is very important because it will point to you exactly what's going to happen next. Okay? Now, in the next very important episode, make sure you catch it. I will tell you what men of God are saying is going to happen in Kenya next. Hey, anyway, catch you there. This is Kumekucha. See you there in a bit. Just click on that link on the top left-hand corner and you'll be there.